Good morning and good evening to all, wherever you may be. So I'm back again with one of the fantastic member having a legacy of 100 years. But before I talk about him, I will give a small introduction about myself. As you all know, my name is Nitin Munot and I'm the Executive Director, Corporate Connection, Mumbai. As we have started uh, introducing our members, I'm very happy to introduce a member today, and we are really happy to have him in Mumbai Corporate Connection because the gentleman is in his 100th year. That is, their company is in 100th year, which was started by his forefathers, then his father, now he, and one more thing, his son is also getting into that. So I'm sure this will continue for another 100 years. So I'm very happy to introduce someone who was a champion in the sports like carom and table tennis in his school life, also in college. Then he also became a professor for a few years and was teaching about his own subject, which I will mention. So today I'm going to introduce Mr. Yashodhan Divekar, who is a solicitor. Good afternoon, Yashodhan.
Good afternoon, Nitin. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm always good. So, Yashodhan, today I'm going to speak to you and trying to understand for me as well as our viewers about yourself. So, first you have to let us know in brief about yourself, then about your business.
See, I am a practicing advocate and solicitor. I have passed my law degree in 1988 and I became a solicitor in 1990. I am also a qualified solicitor of UK and all Commonwealth countries. I have been practicing law for the past more than 30 years. I have a firm called Divekar and Company, which is started by my grandfather, then my father, my mother, my wife, and now my son is getting into law. So it's one of the most reputed firms of advocates and solicitors, and it has a pan-India presence. It was established in the year 1921, which means we will be completing 100 years in 2021, the beginning of 2021. In our 100 years in the profession, we have been fortunate to be associated with several famous personalities, some of the biggest names in the countries and outside, and also some of the finest lawyers in the country. We have a good staff today. We have our firm has presently there are a lot of juniors who are working and they are well versed in all different types and different branches of law. Our partners have authored relevant books which are used as ready reference by law students, lawyers, as well as some of the judges also. So this is our history, this is our tradition, and this is how Divekar and Company is, and it is functioning now for the past 100 years. So I believe that this is our next year would be a celebration year for us.
Great to know. And viewers, as you have been seeing that I have been introducing our members. So we have maximum members in product and services, but at the same time, the service sector is represented by architect and of course, Divekar, as we have seen what he is into. So about service sector also, we are as solid as other sectors in Corporate Connection Mumbai. Now, understanding Yashodhan about your business, and I can understand the passion without which you wouldn't have been doing what you're doing for these 100 years. So I would like to know, rather everyone would like to know, because of this 100 years you're doing this business, which is getting a legacy. So what is the purpose of your business? What you do?
See, the purpose is we have been doing law practice now, as I said, for the past 100 years. And our firm basically is into all types of civil law. We do all types of litigations, corporate legal work, real estate transactions, and documentations, agreements, share transfers, joint ventures, commercial franchisees, distributorships, and all such types of work. We also practice family law, divorce law, HUF related problems, wills, probates, law of succession, all these different types of law. We specialize in arbitration work, commercial, domestic, and international arbitration work. In fact, I personally have done a lot of arbitration matters also. Apart from that, we help businesses and corporates to set up in India. We can have foreign businesses, foreign corporates, bodies also. We help them set up their businesses in India, whatever legal advice they require, or what are the legal formalities to be completed. All that we give them proper legal advice. We help our clients in proper legal advisory and basically do returnership work also. For example, anybody wants to start up a business, we have all the knowledge and we have all the personnel to deal with all aspects of law which is required for a business to start up. There are several legal formalities which are to be completed, several things which are required to be done. So we are in a position to do all this. So this is basically our purpose, to help people, and our forte is civil law, all types of civil law, as I said, and it includes litigation as well as documentation.
Okay, so Yashodhan, understanding your purpose and the way you function with the passion. So we would like to know, as a user of the services, that how are you cost effective, or how do you give that kind of effect to your customers in terms of a cost?
See, we charge very moderately and we have fixed fees. We do not look at the size of the company we are dealing with. We do not look at the financial status of the client we are dealing with. We do not look at how much is the claim amount involved or how much the client is going to get if we succeed in the matter. Our fees are fixed. It depends on the amount of work which we will have to do, how much research we'll have to do, how much time we'll have to spend in that matter. Our fees are based on that. So therefore, it's really a value proposition, because a lot of lawyers would tend to quote their fees based on the claim amount which involved, which we have never been doing from the beginning and which we are not doing now. Our fees are cost effective more than our competitors who are in the same brackets. Additionally, we have been around for a century. We enjoy a good reputation, and therefore the clients are much more comfortable with us. And looking in mind the concept which we have, or the facilities which we have, which are very modern, but our fee structures are still stuck in the old way of thinking which we advocates have. Basically that you should charge only for the work which you do. So that is how the value proposition which we add to the clients.
Great, nice to know, because like me, there would be a lot of our viewers and Corporate Connection members specifically worldwide. Please remember, he's very reasonable, and his company has been there for 100 years. That's very important for you. Now, one more thing which comes to my mind. Typically, lawyers are something people do not want to, get in touch for a long, or they want to avoid. There's some service which is there that is the last thing they want to get into. So considering that, even I do the same. I would not prefer getting into hiring a lawyer for something in a first step itself. Try and resolve as much as possible myself, and then come to the lawyer, maybe at the last thing. So how do you manage your customers in that case? How do they come to you, and how do you manage them?
See, how the way I deal with my client is, whenever a client comes to me, I give a lot of personal attention to the client, and particularly a dispute which he has. Whenever a client comes to a firm, they come in as clients, but they stay on as friends. This is because as our clients watch us working, they see that we protect them and their interests with, we give our best for protection of their interests. We become the force of their life. They rely on us particularly for their legal matters. They trust us, and as I said, our reputation always helps us, which we are there from the beginning. And the honesty and integrity which we try to work. So ultimately, after a few meetings, the clients also can gauge for themselves the manner in which we work, the efforts which we put in a particular matter, and everything that we do, and the personal interest we take in the client. So therefore, that is how the customers or the clients which come to us, usually they stick on and stay on with us. That is what my experience has been, fortunately, up to now. So therefore, this is how we do the client management.
Great to know. So I'm saying, who are your target clients now?
See, target clients, as you said earlier, it can be anybody. It can be individuals who have any legal problems, particularly relating to their personal matters. Individuals, they may, have some personal issues which they may want to consult. Family matters, if there are any family issues which are involved, particularly HUF, Hindu undivided families, and family issues which are involved. Any family arrangements, wills, probate, succession. So anybody in need of that issues to be sorted out are my target audience. Partnership firms, where setting up of partnership firms, what are the legal requirements which you are supposed to satisfy? If there are any disputes between the partners, what are the rights and liabilities? So any partnership firm would also be my target audience. Then any corporates, so we can help in several ways. We can help in setting up of incorporation of a company, then the legal contracts which a company is required to, legal formalities which they are required to satisfy. Then any particular legal requirements which they must consider before starting a business. Any startup business, there are several legalities are involved before you start up a business. So all this would be my target audience. Any foreign companies, as I said earlier, we help set up foreign companies in India. So if any company wants to have a branch in India or set up a sister concern or even start up a new company in India, we can, guide them properly. What are the legalities involved? Then any documentation, anybody wants any documentation done. So any such person, but in civil litigation and civil documentation, we are there. Criminal matters we try to avoid, as though I have done a few criminal matters when I was just starting practice, because we were told in the beginning that you must try everything, before you choose your specialty. So that is what we have been doing. So, but now basically it's civil law, and these are my target audiences, and particularly anybody who requires any lawyer on a retainership basis, so then I would be really interested in all that. So these would be all my target audiences.
Yeah, I think viewers, you must have seen Yashodhan is there for any and every problem of yours. So be बिंदास और जो करना है करिए, और कुछ भी तकलीफ है तो यशोधन को मत भूलिए. You mentioned about returnership. So if you don't mind, just for a larger picture, and there are a lot of people, even for me or many others, having a returnership would be quite, I think, can be important. So under such a circumstances, what are the legal fees which can come as a returner? For that, you can just simply mention if it is okay with you, so that the people who are on the boundaries, because a lot of businessmen don't think the legal aspect is as important as it is actually. So having a returnership is very important, because it is very good to be prepared and always ready for any legal issues, rather than get into an advocate or solicitors only after getting into a problem. So that's the reason I'm asking.
Right. See, retainership basis, it works in a way that, we do all sorts of work for the company, like correspondence, opinions which they want, consultations, which is all gets covered in a retainership. The court cases, if there are court cases, then of course that they would be separate. They would not come under the retainership. But quoting fees for a retainership is really very difficult. It can go anywhere between 25,000 or even 2 lakhs, 3 lakhs. It all depends on the amount of work which will involve. If a company is small, or if it has 1 or 2 offices and the business is not much, then the work which would come to an advocate would also be less. But if it's a big company having several offices in several places, the amount of work which would be coming in, even for a retainer, would be quite high. So fees in such cases would be a little higher than the fees which would be for a smaller company, because retainership usually would work on the amount of work which would, which we would estimate which would come to us. So it would really be based on that. It can be, as I said, the range is quite high. It can be anything between 25,000 per month for a small company to, it may go up to 5 lakhs per month for a very big company, because that would be the amount of work which you would be required to do.
Got it. I think that was a very important question, and I'm sure a lot of members and our friends who are watching this video, they would think, and I would urge you that you must get into a returnership. That is very important in today's kind of a business, what we do specifically. Okay, so to 100 years firm and a lawyer and a solicitor. Now I'm coming to the last question, and that's what I'm going to ask about a corporate connections role in your life. So mention legally and illegally both.
I don't think there is any illegal role so far. The thing is that I have joined the Corporate Connections in January. So it's been almost 7 months for me. Initial 2 months, we used to have physical meetings before the lockdown. And, it was just wonderful. The kind of interaction which was there between the members. Now, all of them have virtually become my personal friends also, apart from being the Corporate Connects members which are there. So it has taught me a lot also, even as a lawyer, that corporate connections, how the members interact, how you can, help each other in increasing your business multifold. The amount of business which can be generated through an organization like this is just tremendous. And that is what I've learned. Even I have personally gained. So far, I have done work for at least 2 or 3 members of the Corporate Connections. Plus, there have been references which are coming. Of course, I've done, I've been doing work for Pulin even before I became a member. But after becoming a member, I've done work for Nitin Mittal, then I've done work for Samvar, and I have had interactions with Avinash also. So I have also benefited a lot. This organization is simply fantastic.
So thank you, Yashodhan, for that particular kind words, and especially coming from a legal expert. And we are really happy to know that. And we are also happy to know that I have seen one difference which has got you better from the time you joined is you have started opening up for a networking, which is what the most important aspect of the our platform is. And on that front, you are open up a lot in spite of we not meeting physically. And as you mentioned, even in virtually, it is really working wonders. So great to thank you for Yashodhan for all your insights. And we are really, once again, I'm saying very honored to have somebody like you, and the legacy carrying for hundreds of years and going to carry for further 100 years. Viewers, I would be coming next time again with one more members, and I would, as I always say, just make sure you are also part of this corporate connection, wherever city, whichever country you may be. This will really make your change in your life. Yashodhan.
Thank you so much, Nitin. Thank you so much for taking so much trouble. Yeah.
My pleasure. All the best. Thank you.